Yo, man.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Yo, man. Boom, Miss Rusty. What is up, everybody? It is Monday. Uh, yeah, Monday. Done the joke enough, so there's probably a joke about today. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any fresh ones, so I'll just leave it at that. So, welcome everybody to the Public Access Podcast, the podcast here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. I'm your host, Rusty Diamond. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to our sponsors. I'll put those in the show notes. And today, I have a special guest. And I'm going to bring on my special guest right here, right now. And right here, right now, my guest is Shelley Ceridwen. How you doing, Shelley?
Hey Rusty, so good to see you.
You as well. So, yeah. So let's see. So where are you in the world? Were you
I
on
am
Vancouver
on
Island? Is that right?
beautiful Vancouver Island. Yes.
How's
And
that going?
it's pretty good. I've been here for about 2 years. So I'm in the city of Langford, which I think is the fastest growing city in the whole of Canada.
Oh,
It's the third place we've lived since moving to the island. So we've been trialing different spaces, and yeah, right here it's a pretty cool space to be. We've got the ocean, we've got lakes, we've got mountains, loads of parks. So yeah, it's a pretty sweet spot, and all the amenities you could wish for. Like there's a Tesla just down the road and a Costco down the road, and yeah, it's kind of got everything, but kind of a nice small size.
yeah. So how much of the island have you got to explore? Yeah, so it's a big island.
Well, it's not too big. I think it's not too dissimilar to Wales, where I came from. Um, but it's just narrower and
Yep.
longer. So we started up in the Comox Valley. We got some friends up there, and they had only moved to the island a few months before we arrived. They bought a farm, so we went and stayed on their farm
Oh,
for our first few weeks, and then we came down. And we've done all along the east coast of the island, but I haven't been west yet. And Tofino on the west of the island is meant to be like the most spectacular place. So that's definitely on my next place to go to list.
and so what brought you out to the island? Was it just your friend said, "Hey, we got a farm out here. Come check it out"?
A little bit like honestly, we were due to buy a new house in the UK. And in the UK, the way that you buy and sell properties, it's very strange. Like you work in a big chain, and our chain sadly fell apart just before we were about to complete. And there was nothing else on the market that we liked at the time. So, but our buyers still wanted to buy, and we were like, should we just make a plan B? So plan B would have been New Zealand because I had a lot of family out there. But that was closed during COVID. So the
Right.
options were limited, but my partner always loved Canada. Like Canada would have been his number one. If New Zealand wasn't there because of family, it definitely would have been Canada. So that suddenly became a viable alternative. And yeah, speaking to an immigration consultant, they just said if you want to move quickly, then one of you needs to study to get in the country. And I was like, yes, please, I'll
Oh,
study. So I'd done my undergrad like 20 years earlier and had a PR and comms career for 20 years. And I was ready for a change. I was ready to kind of decide what the new direction of my life was going to be. So yes, so I found this incredible university on Vancouver Island, which is for postgrad students specifically. And in most of the courses, you had to have 10 years experience behind you to apply. So I
Okay.
knew I wasn't going to be thrown in with a bunch of 18-year-olds. I was going to be going in with people from around the world who've got a lot of life experience to bring to the table. And I have not been disappointed yet.
That's pretty amazing. And so how long is the program?
So I only signed up to do the postgrad diploma, which could have been 6 months, done and dusted. But within about 3 months, I had a really strong kind of transmission, if you like, of my purpose, of what I'm here to do. And listening to that, I was like, I can't finish studying yet. Like, this is a master's. So I then had to pitch to my fiance why I should continue studying for another, say, 2 years to really see this through and start to realize my life purpose. So it's been a lot longer than I intended it to be when I first moved out here. So I'm still studying now, and I'm just starting my final module in my master's, and then it will be my thesis.
So what, you're doing your thesis on yet?
Yeah, so it's all about community. And I'm looking to find a affordable, scalable solution to loneliness. So we can all very easily apply this in our own lives. So instead of feeling lonely or disconnected, we can feel connected and joyful. And I'm particularly my initial trials, I'm working with like expats and newcomers because
Okay.
you haven't got your people here. And the program that I'm creating, it will eventually be applicable for anyone, because we're all changing in our lives, and the people in our lives are maybe not exactly the same place. So we're looking to like build really intentional circles around us that can support us in our personal growth and really help with our health and well-being and our happiness where we are in our lives at the time.
And so where right now is Canada with, is it just mass right now? Have they shut anything down yet? Or is that, because I mean, is that going to affect what, I assume loneliness is going to creep up if and when that happens?
Right.
Is that,
And this was part of the reason, Rusty. Like, before COVID, I was always a very sociable person. Like, I'm blessed. I always had good groups of friends around me. I never had to experience loneliness. But when the pandemic hit and we were isolated, and I had a job and I had 2 young children, and I wasn't living near most of my friends, so I wasn't able to bubble up with anybody, and didn't really have the capacity to be coordinating Zoom quizzes like a lot of people seem to be doing with their mates.
yeah.
So when this big idea arose, I'm like, I am not going to accept that lonely feeling again. We need to hedge ourselves against this. So the program that I'm developing, it is to help people find the people where they are, which is where the expats and newcomers comes in. But it's also to remember the people that we have a real connection with, no matter where they are in the world and no matter where we are in the world. If the connection is one that they kind of fit in your life right now, and they might be someone that you were friends with 5 years ago and you've kind of lost touch because you've been in different places, but you've seen something recently that they've posted on LinkedIn and you're like, they're doing a similar thing to what I'm doing. It's like, maybe that person could be in your hybrid inner circle or inner circles, because there's different spheres of circles today. And technology, what it is today, that can happen. but we really need to shift away from what we're currently doing online to make that happen.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't live by anyone that I'm, friends with. I'm on, most of my friends are on the West Coast. Yeah, I'm out on the East Coast, and so, um,
So how do you connect?
yeah,
How do you connect with them, or how do you enjoy connecting with them?
yeah, I don't know. I've enjoyed being pretty much just, yeah, I don't know. Every once in a while, I'll do phone calls, or I have podcasts all the time, so
And
like I can
I
always just
found
get
that
them on my podcast.
100%. And I've loved my podcast as well. I've really found this to be a beautiful way to feel connected. And the days that I do a podcast, whether I'm a guest or I'm a interviewer, I'm uplifted for the whole day. Like this has really been a game changer for me. So I've really seen podcasting as a tool to be part of this.
And what's your podcast? What's the basis of your podcast to
So I
do?
think it's called Rediscovering Connection. So the
Okay.
people I speak to, I'm looking at the communities and people that have really played a part in their lives. And then I'm also speaking to people who are working in this space, like looking at the ways that we connect, whether that's in friendships or in workplace teams, and learning about different strategies that businesses or people can have to kind of have relationships with intention.
Yeah. And so then, you're getting, I mean, a lot of these people, are you finding them on um, the postings, like the groups, or are you
No,
meeting them in
no.
other places?
The only people that I'm speaking to on my podcast so far have been people that I know and I'm connected with. Then more recently, I've been stretching out and approaching people that I've been following for a couple of years or who are well known in this space. And I've been doing direct reach outs, like very intentional reach outs.
How weird is that to you to do that? 'Cause that's been an interesting thing for me. I've had trouble doing that sometimes. Like, I mean, I couldn't have imagined this 10 years ago. I couldn't imagine this as a kid, going and reaching out to people like, hey, you're someone that I think, that I've no other reason to meet or talk to. But then it's just like, okay, I can just message them directly and respond back. And
Right. And
it's
doing
odd.
it without expectation. So you send the invitation, it's like you're inviting them to a party, right?
Right.
It's nice to send an invite. It's lovely to receive an invite. That doesn't mean they have to come. They might not have the capacity to come, but if you really deep down you would like them on your podcast, then I really do so from a place of this is an invitation and it's also a gift, like you're gifting someone your time.
Yeah.
So, and this is all the work that I do with my clients as well. It's really shifting that mindset from imposing to inviting.
And
And
yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty nice. And I mean, and yeah, you have to be kind of okay with not respond or not expecting a response. And that's
yeah,
totally fine. And I had someone say that they don't do anything public anymore, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. But like, thank you for responding. That was pretty nice to get that. But I'm like, I get it. It's like, I don't like doing social media stuff or any of that. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. Like, you're on here, but yeah, if you like it that way, then I get it. Um I don't, because sometimes I'm that way too, and I'm like,
yeah. So I'm very intrigued about you as well. So we're imagining we've just bumped into each other
right.
on the
There it is.
beach. And
Yeah, on
I'm
the
like,
beach.
are you a wrestler?
I was once upon a time. And yeah, for a while. And yeah, it's I still kind of involved, but just enough where I feel like that's enough of that I want to do. Like
Yeah, but
the last,
I bet it taught you some interesting things, and I bet you met some cool people along that journey.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, so meeting a lot of people that I probably wouldn't have any interaction with otherwise. And like maybe 5% of the people might be someone that might have been my friend otherwise, but other than that, it's just, someone that uh
Like
I come across.
transitional friends.
Right. And yeah, I mean, they're all over the world now. And so, like, pretty much anywhere I go, I'll always know somebody. But whether I'm, going out and reaching out to them or, you know, going somewhere to do a show still, like, I don't know. It's sometimes, but then I can still Zoom them. I can, get on Zoom and do something with them. But uh yeah, I mean, I was talking about last night with a friend, and I missed some parts of it, but I
What do you
don't.
think about this idea, Rusty?
Yeah,
Okay. So I've been exploring the metaverse, and I think it's still very early. I got really excited about it about a year and a half ago, and I'm getting excited about it again because I'm collaborating with someone who's also excited about this space. So some of the tests we're doing, imagine you would like to connect with some of the guys that you used to know from wrestling, and you said to them, I'm going to be in this metaverse space between 6 and 8 on Wednesday, and you send them a link to your metaverse world. You're just there for 2 hours and you just see who drops in.
yeah, I'd be up for that. And I mean, that's kind of something that I just started doing as well, like doing um one of the podcasts live, and it's same sort of thing. Like we're doing this for a couple hours. If you want to drop in and say something, go for it. Um, and yeah,
Do
so I
you,
mean, if it's
do you use Twitch for that?
no, we literally just started when so um we just did it with Rumble right now, but we're signed up with Twitch, and like it was we had the Facebook, Twitch, and Rumble. Could do YouTube too, but like what we talk about, we can't really do on YouTube. So, but it was like we need to get one of these working, and the only
Yeah.
one that we could get working just without having to do any troubleshooting or um, was the Rumble one. Like I didn't have the patience to sit and try to do Twitch or I don't know if I've done Facebook, but yeah, it just got to be like, okay, yeah, I got to do one of these. But um, it's been fun. I used to do live streaming for a while, and that was interesting. I was doing that. There was a maybe like 2 years ago or so. There was one in the based out of the Philippines, and then, or there was a lot of people from the Philippines on it. And then another one that I got on where not everyone, but a lot of people were from Taiwan. And so that was interesting. And so, but I get on like at, 5 in the morning and do a couple hours, but I just, I don't know, I lost interest in it and got more into this. I don't know. I guess I didn't have the kind of interaction that kept me going on.
Right. It's got to
Yeah,
feel good. It's got to feel good. And this is like the metaverse piece that isn't something that would be recorded. So the metaverse piece would just be a live experience to be had. So quite
okay.
different to broadcasting.
And so in the metaverse, are people, do they have, avatars or something? Is that how that works? I'm not really
It,
too familiar with.
it depends which one you use. So if you use spatial or so work, you can choose to have an avatar or you can have your face. but the faces, your face is much, much smaller than if you're on Zoom, for instance, which is just a catalog of faces. So on So Work and Spatial, you have a backdrop, and then the faces are just little, so you can see who's there, and you can kind of move your avatar, your little face, around the screen to go and speak to different clusters of people, and you can only hear the people who your avatar is next to, and then you can go into different rooms and things. Whereas there's other ones. There's one called Megaverse, and that one you can't see faces at all. It's all audio, and then the characters are really quite cool. And they've got some interesting stuff happening in Megaverse. I had a tour of that one recently, and they've got a Californian vineyard building space there. So there's all sorts of stuff happening in this world at the moment. It's like it had loads of publicity a while back, didn't it? And then AI has just dominated over the last 6 months or so. So everyone's kind of forgotten about the metaverse, but it's coming.
So are you wearing like a headset or anything for this, or like a VR headset, or is it
I have a VR headset, but I'm not into it really.
okay.
Because I'm all about communication and connection, and it yeah. I mean, I have experienced it a little bit, but I'm not 100% sold on that way. I think I prefer, yeah.
Yeah. And so then people are buying property in this, correct? Is that a thing? People are
Some of them. So I've bought some land in a world called Pavia.
okay.
But that's still in development. So I've basically bought off plan, which seems a bit crazy. And that was quite a while ago now. So I think they've opened one part of it, but not the part that we can build in yet. So I envisage having my headquarters of my business in Pavia.
So are you're gonna build headquarters in the metaverse, your headquarters for it.
Yeah.
And so what's that gonna look like?
What's that going to look like? Good question. So I've got a few plots in Pavia. So if you buy more than one plot together, then you can build up. So the headquarters, it's called Communiverse, and I'm inviting people in there to kind of come and have a consultation to see if the program is right for them. If it is, then they would be able to use some of our space to host their community gatherings.
Okay.
So I guess that's what the different floors will be for. But essentially, the headquarters will be a place that myself and some of the other coaches and collaborators that I work with will be available. So we basically have a tool on our computer. So when we're not coaching clients and we are at our desk, and people come in, then we'd be notified that they've come in, and we'll be able to engage with them.
And so what's the group of people that are on there right now? Like are there a lot of people that you that are like your peers and friends are on there, or is it a lot
Good
of people that
question.
are uh you know internet people that are
Right.
always plugged in?
It's a great question. And the world's, like, I've explored quite a lot. I started a metaverse meetup group a year and a half ago. And I'd explore worlds, but they're quiet. But some of the people that you do bump into are like really good people. Like the first time I went into So Work, I bumped into a guy named Phil, had a little chat with him. Then I started chatting to the CEO, Vish, who's a friend of a friend here on Vancouver Island. And he said, "You know who that was?" And I was like, "Phil?" He's like, "Yeah, he's the guy that founded Second Life." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Cool."
okay.
So it's like the people who are there, it's going to be a mixed bag, but there are a lot of innovative thought leaders cruising around these metaverses, because it is the future. Like this is going to shake up the way that we spend our digital time. And I'm not championing it as a replacement for our physical life, which we desperately need, and we need more physical connection. But in place of the kind of passive time that we spend on different social media platforms, this is going to be a time that we spend online, that we do have those live interactions, which are vital. That's when we have the realizations, the ahas, when we really learn about ourselves and we learn about other people.
Yeah, because I think I remember, I don't remember what it was. There's something where that because they'd have comedy shows on this, and people could go and I didn't do it. I elected not to do it. But I saw that going on, and people could go in and watch these shows while, like, in the metaverse, of whoever's doing, a comedy set, or having like a few comics
Very
on and doing
cool.
stuff.
That's really cool because I've got a friend who's just gone to the Vancouver Fringe, Rob Trick. I'll just throw his name in there.
Okay, yeah,
He's doing a show there. So I wonder if he's familiar. Maybe I need to introduce him to the metaverse.
yeah. I think that I'm pretty sure it was in the metaverse. Because yeah, Second Life was a while ago. Is Second Life still a thing? Isn't it? It's pretty close to what Second Life was.
Um, I think it is still a thing. It's not something that I've been involved with.
Yeah, me
But
neither.
maybe some of your listeners have. Comment
Yeah.
below.
All right. Yeah, I saw an episode of The Office, and they talk about it in there. So I mean that's my one
And that was a
interaction.
while back.
Yeah, that
That
was a
was
while
like,
back.
yeah,
Pro
20 years
prob
ago.
Yeah, probably. So whenever that was, they
They
had,
had the vision, the technology just wasn't ready for them. So
yeah,
now it is.
yeah, and it's interesting, and I think it, whatever is going to happen next, and it was interesting to see how people reacted last time with the shutdown and everything, and kind of saw how people were interacting, and who kind of was able to see who, or how they're able to see someone. And I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to look this time. And yeah, hopefully there's more community somehow. But
You think
it,
it's going to go back into lockdowns again?
I have a feeling. I have a feeling
Oh,
it will. I it's a hunch.
it
It's a
didn't work
hunch.
though, surely. Did it work?
No, it didn't work, but doesn't mean it's not going to happen
I
again.
just I
But
just think we need to treat each other like grown-ups. Like if it's a surge, people who are immunocompromised, be mindful of your own limitations. And I think businesses are much more flexible these days. So long as that's a thing, the problem really is, and I had Robin Dunbar on my podcast last week, and he said the repercussions of lockdowns have really seen a two-tier class system now. There's those people that have to go to work, they're on the front line, and there's those people that can work from home. And
right,
this is the problem. If you are in that kind of immunocompromised category of people, and you're someone that has to be on the front line, go to work, like that's really the issue. And I guess that's going to be like diversifying. Like, can you find a job that you can work from home if this is going to be a thing?
yeah,
And I'm sure it must be very hard if in your heart you want to serve and you want to be, you want to be a nurse helping people. But yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that being able to accept stuff about yourself is very important. And
Mm,
there's a lot of stuff that I know I can't do anymore because of limitations that I have. Like, I know I can't wrestle anymore, for instance. And but
that one too many knocks to the head.
yeah, no, I stepped in a hole at my other job. I never got hurt in wrestling. I stepped in a
Oh
hole at
wow.
my other job,
Oh,
and yeah, that
oh,
was
I'm
that was the end of it.
sorry. That must have
Eh,
been
It's
so frustrating.
That was okay. It was for a little bit, but eventually learned how to, accept it and work through it and find, the stuff that I found afterwards has been great, and not having to be on the road all the time. I didn't know how great that was, but that's great. I've enjoyed being at home. I was very much restless for a while when it happened. Like I went from being on the road all the time to just sitting at home, and that was I don't know what to do, but
Mm.
eventually got
What
through
did
it.
you
But
found? What was your solace?
um, I had uh some chickens and goats, and then yeah, then I became a hypnotist, and between
Oh,
that I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm all right. Let it go. And but it was, I don't know, and I still don't understand why so many businesses like that, uh, like business parks and corporate business structure have all the big office buildings and stuff. I just really found it surprising that so many of them went back to the office when it's got to be cheaper to just pay everyone to pay for a computer and their internet at home and keep them at home, as opposed to having a bunch of buildings or a big building they have to.
people need people. And the work done in small teams can really be innovating much, much faster than working in silos. So there's definitely value in coming together. The frequency, I don't know. I think you need regularity. You need to be together, a couple of times a week at least. And then there's, it's definitely nice to be able to have that balance, but I'm not surprised that people went back.
Yeah, I mean, so but what you're doing is it's mostly remote right now, besides being in school. Then
That's it. So I'm at university, so I have a campus, and then I'm studying from home, and the client work that I do is either from home, or I've also got a space at the Avatar Experience Center, which is this kind of next generation in wellness. Experience centers are a big thing across Asia, but this is the first of its kind, certainly in Victoria. I'm not sure about in Canada. So I deliver some of my client work in person there as well.
what is that?
The Avatar Experience Center.
Yeah.
So it's basically it's just like a beautiful environment where people can come. It's almost like a members club, but focused on health and wellness. So they have different practitioners come to deliver treatments. They have leading edge voices come and deliver talks. And then so people will sign up for a membership of this space, and then as part of that you get huge discounts on some of the leading edge coaches, practitioners that are connected with the Avatar Experience Center.
And then, so this is the physical location, right? I'm not
Yeah, this is in
hearing that
Victoria.
wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fort Street. In person,
Um,
but there is a metaverse version of it in development as well. So members that come also have access to the metaverse version, so that then they can stay connected with other members in between times that they actually come to the physical location.
okay. And so then what is there, as far as people working with clients, is that going to become more of a uh normality of people meeting with their clients in the metaverse, and it's sort of a healing or a wellness kind of clinic? Is that something, or is there something that maybe isn't, it's not encrypted
I
uh
know I
for
know
privacy?
this is, yeah, this is a vision. When I had a tour of Megavirus, the metaverse world, the lady that took me around, she showed me this one particular area, and she said, this area is all designed for healers, for holistic practitioners. And the idea is cross-pollination. So someone is your regular client, they will also get like a discount from these other practitioners, so that it doesn't feel like you're competing against each other. It's like you're sharing contacts a little bit, and you're allowing other people to get exposure.
That's a good idea. And yeah,
Otherwise, everyone just has their own websites, don't they? Everyone's website is different. They're not interconnected. There's no cross-pollination. So this is a way that people can support each other, support their peers.
that's a good idea. I got wheels in my head
You
spinning
could be in there
now.
with your hypnosis.
Yeah, or I mean any other
offering.
kind of healing. There's a lot of people I've had on this podcast that are into healing in many different
Right.
modalities. Um, could be good to have some sort of big bubble of contacts, and wherever someone's going.
The
And
Rusty Diamond podcast guests.
right, yeah, I mean there's already a lot. And I mean I've thought about doing that with, like, so if people with my clients, like, I'm fine passing off clients. um I tell people I'd rather pass off a client to somebody else, give someone a few names, as opposed to them. But especially if I can tell someone doesn't connect with me or like me, which happens, and I'm okay with it. Like from wrestling, like I'm fine with people knowing not everyone's
Got
gonna
thick
like me.
skin.
And yeah, I have thick skin, and I I don't want to turn somebody off. Like, if I know how well hypnosis can help them, I don't want them to be completely turned off by it because of their experience with me. I'd much rather have them go with somebody else. And like what, like, um in smoking stuff or whatever, like people who stop smoking, I'll turn people away with that one too. A lot of times, like if someone else wants to get them to stop smoking, like, do you want to stop smoking, or somebody else want to stop smoking? And if they
So
tell me
they
someone
have to be
else
the one.
does,
Really?
yeah, yeah. And if someone else says it, I just say keep smoking. Don't feel bad about it. Be happy about it. If you ever get it to the point when you want to quit for yourself, then give me a call. I'll be here. But in the meantime, don't waste your money. It's not going to work. It If it's not you that's really wanting to do any of this stuff, like, don't do it. And I mean that's the thing that I think is hard to accept a lot, for a lot of times, and for a lot of different things, like, or people that get addicted to drugs and stuff or whatever. Like, you can't really do anything. You can say something, but it's ultimately up to every person. I mean, you can get them thrown into rehab if you want. I mean, that's probably the closest thing you can do, and hope that they turn around. But as soon as they walk out those doors, then it's all on them. So, I mean, I'd much rather have, someone, I like, if I know it's something that can help them, I'm fine
So
not getting the
who's your ideal
business.
client?
It depends on what they're getting hypnosis for.
Yeah.
But I mean, someone that uh, can relate to me when we're talking, and yeah, is open to it, and wanting to make whatever in their life better. And if that's not the case, that's fine. And I know a lot of hypnotists, and I know a lot of them have pretty different personalities, or if you're looking at more on a uh, like physical attribute kind of scale, like whether they are, like a man or a woman or whatever. If people are looking at it that way, like, I can put them in that way. Or if they want somebody that's going to, sugarcoat stuff a lot more than I will, I know who I'd give them to, because I know, someone that will take the clients that way and are really good at working it with them with that. Whereas my approach is much more direct, and it's not for everyone, but the people that I can work with, I know are going to get me really well and be able to get the most out of it. And yeah, I mean,
So
yeah.
is hypnosis a gift or is it a learnable skill?
Um, both, I mean, anyone can learn hypnosis. And the guy who taught me, I mean, that was the thing he wanted to instill in all of us, was really to get everyone to kind of learn self-hypnosis and to be able to pass that on. And
So do you teach it? Do you teach other people to learn the skill? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I like when I tell people, like, it's not the best business model except for word of mouth. But like, I'll tell people I just want to see him once and I never want to see him again. Like, you
Mhm.
go and you do this. I'm going to give you the tools. You're good. Just go do this.
Love it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
tell a friend, but yeah, you don't need to see me anymore. If there's something else that you want to work on, I'm happy for you to come back. But as far as this right here, this thing you want worked on, do this and you're
You're
good.
done.
And yeah,
Amazing.
and we're done. Yeah. So um yeah, I mean, and it was something that, like, that I believe in. Like, I can I can sell crap all day if I want to, but then if someone comes up to me down the road and sees me that I sold someone crap, and they're like, hey, you sold me crap, like, why would I want to buy something from you now? But hypnosis is something that I believe in. I thought it was totally fake up until the first day that I went in there. I thought everything about it was fake, and then I learned it wasn't. So I mean, it's something that I can, yeah, easily sell and be able to stand behind it 100% and feel good about what it can do. And I mean, there's only a couple types of people that hypnosis won't work on. And so um,
And who are they?
people that are narcissistic, or people that are, like, have multiple personalities.
Mm.
That's the only two, for some reason, that are not able to be hypnotized. And then I always get people, like, I can't be hypnotized. And those are always the fun ones, because, everyone, unless those two things are present, like, anyone can. And or else I've been to a stage show, and yeah, I didn't get hypnotized. I'm like, okay, yeah, you did actually, but so it's been interesting. It's definitely I like that line of work. So I never thought I'd get to that point, but yeah, I really like it. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's important to find whoever, whoever your people are will come to you, and
Hmm.
you'll find them. You'll
Call
find them,
call
they'll
them
find
in.
you.
Call them in.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
yeah, like this here, like, it's, someone, like, we can figure this out. We're on that same place, and it's it's important to have that. And sometimes gets overlooked as something that seems like it could be so hard to do, but it's not. And I think, like, with your program, I think that would be the hurdle of it, would be getting people to, you know be open to, like this is, like, just some people are stubborn, or whatever, and it's like that for a lot of people. And but just being able to get them to, like, yeah, it's not hard to do it if you do it. it's
Yeah,
something
like
that's, yeah.
in the work that I do, it is about, first of all, like figuring out the capacity that we have, because we've all got quite a limited capacity for people in our lives. And understanding what capacity we have, we then kind of evaluate, well, who's already there? And then where are the gaps in terms of what I need to fulfill my life, where the gaps are. And then once you can see that visually, and we have a visual, then you literally can call them in. And this summer, my partner and I, we kind of took turns with the children a little bit, which is really rare. We're very much together, but I took the children to the UK for a few weeks and then we swapped. So I had 3 weeks child free this summer, which is
Wow.
unheard of. And I went to this beautiful festival on the beach called Eats and Beats in Royal Bay. And I went down to the beach and listening to this beautiful music. And the first 2 people that I spoke to, one was a business guy who's connected to all the business community here, which I haven't really infiltrated here yet. So he was like, off the back of that, we were chatting for a while. He's a British guy actually, but been here for a long time. He was like, I'm going to invite you to the West Shore Chamber events, which he's done, and I've attended since then. And the other guy was a stand-up, the guy that I said
Oh,
is
okay.
currently
Yeah.
Vancouver Fringe. And like, just like, the vibe was strong from the get-go. And I've been saying, I want to get on stages. I want to share the knowledge that I've acquired with more people. And Rob's done that. He knows how to do that. And he's intending to go to Australia in the winter and the UK next summer. So so I saw what I needed and I went on my own. And I do think there's an important point about going out, leaving your home solo. If you want to be calling these people into your life as friends or as business connections, you need to get out there on your own. Be accessible so that people are then going to approach you. Be approachable and accessible. And just watch as the people that you need in your life appear. But you got to be willing to talk, and you got to be willing. If you feel the urge, and you'll feel it inside, like you'll see somebody be like, I need to talk to those. I need to talk to that. You'll feel it. And then you
Yeah.
just you got to act upon that feeling.
And so is that something that you're uh, instilling in your clients with that, of trying to get them, yeah, to get out of their comfort zone and get them
Uh-huh.
into new experiences, and yeah, being out, just being out, going out and, yeah, doing something that, like you're saying, like, I've done stuff with like the small businesses, or yeah, like Chamber of Commerce and that stuff that are around is always a good thing too. Like, or you know, meetups for, like, or even this, like, yeah, a bunch of different podcast people that are into talking. And I set myself to a very specific group of people that, I have for the show. Uh, and I turn away a lot of people that I just,
I'm privileged. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. And
I made the cut.
um, yeah, there's a lot of people that I don't think would get it, or I don't think would be able to talk for a while with me. They could probably talk with some other people for a while, but I don't think I could just sort of feel it out. Like, they're not my people. I have
Mhm.
my people, and like you're saying, you can feel when you're like, okay, that's someone that I can have a good back and forth with, and it'll be worth it. And just being able to realize that that's a thing that can happen, and it's not crazy to think that it will happen. It's
Mhm.
something that, yeah, I mean, trust trust your instincts. And I think that's something that gets overlooked a lot now. Just how
Mhm.
many how
Yes,
many times?
they're to
Yes.
protect us, right?
Right. And like I like telling this one too, like with when you meet somebody, like how for some reason we've been instilled to know that when you get butterflies in your stomach, when you meet somebody, it's not a good thing. It's actually quite the opposite, which is odd. Because it's kind of your body saying, kind of watch out for this person.
Mm,
Whether that could turn into something good is possible, but it's having that first defense of your gut reaction literally telling you
right.
something's not right.
And if you get an invitation and it's a couple of weeks away and you think, oh, I don't really want to go to that, but I'll probably fancy it in 2 weeks' time. You won't. If
Yep.
you don't want to go there right now, you are not going to want to go there in 2 weeks. So politely decline, and then you don't
Yeah.
need to worry about it for the next 2 weeks.
Yep. And I think that's important too, to be able to say no to stuff and just,
If it's not serving you, and again, that goes back to the capacity piece. You understand what capacity you have, and that time that you could spend doing something that you really don't want to do, you could be spending that time investing in the people or the activities that totally serve you and going to enrich the life that you live, that those close to you live, and not diluting what you have, the energy that you have to give.
yeah. And I mean, I've gotten plenty of guilt trips for that, but it doesn't matter to me. Like I don't care in that way. I'd much rather have, like you're saying, something that's I'm not dreading to go to. And yeah, just being able to get to a point where it's like, well, why would I even do that? There's I'd rather just step away from this and not have to be like, oh, I have to go to this thing. Now, I mean, there's not really anything I go to. Very few things where it's like, I don't really want to go. I don't really want to do this.
You've done this work
Yeah.
on
And
yourself.
yeah. And it's important. It's important to get to that point. And it's one of the most liberating things to just be able to say, nah,
Like healthy
eh,
boundaries, right? Setting
yeah,
healthy boundaries for we're also limited with time and capacity, and setting those healthy boundaries mean that we can live our life with more intention.
right. And then so if people are wanting to live their life with more intention and they want to find you to do that, how are they going to do that? Where are they going to find you? Where are they going to find your work? How are they going to contact with you to work with you?
And so I've just rebranded my website. So it's now communiverse.vip,
All right.
or,
Uh,
or you can or you can find me on LinkedIn, Shelley Ceridwen.
and I believe I have the links for both of those, and I can pop that in and put that in the show notes. So yeah, everyone can find it. You
Amazing.
did send me both of those, correct? I
I
think
don't know
so.
about the Communiverse one because that's just gone live, so I can ping you an email with that.
How do I spell that?
So COMMUNIVERSE.VIP.
VIP. So I found out,
Very important people in your life.
yeah, so there's some island in the Caribbean that is like all their country is .ai, and so every time that someone gets a website with .ai on it, like they get some portion of money from each one of those now. Yeah, I forgot what the country was, but yeah, .vip is it's nice. It's nice. So you don't have to have like a .com or .gov, .org, or anything, or
The
.ca or
dot com, the
UK.
dot com went, but it's like a speech therapist company. So I think I might have to reach out to them and say, hey,
Yeah,
how
you're
in
like,
love
oh,
are you with this?
right. yeah, I got someone that took rustydiamond.com, and I don't even know what it is. I couldn't tell you what they have, but and it was, I mean, so much more expensive for rustydiamond.com. What was it? It is some metal thing, like oh no,
Mm,
it's a music. It's a musical collective, Rusty Diamond. So
maybe you could collaborate with them.
I might have to, yeah, give some music, or yeah, it's not bad. I don't even have to look at it or listen to
I
it
get
until I'm
low
out.
I get emails like from people that have the same name as me. Yeah,
Oh,
I get emails and I'm always like I'll reply back to them. I'll say that I'm not the person they're trying to reach, but yeah, it's quite interesting when you get that.
have you gone into those spaces or like a LinkedIn or something and typed your name in and friended everybody else with your name?
No, that's a great idea though.
Yeah, I did it, and I weirded some people out. I'm like, hey, let's all hang out. We'll have the same name, and
Oh,
you
that's
know,
so good.
yeah. I don't think I got one person who was into it, so I assume one of those people is this person who has rustydiamond.com. But yeah, I mean, they had to pay a
That's,
lot for their website. I think
I
I
feel
paid
like you need
11
to do a
bucks.
challenge for your listeners to
I
do
think
that.
so. Yeah, you
Just see
guys
what response.
find out your people. Find out whatever your name is. Type it in. Everyone that has your name, friend request them, and put them all in a chat. Put them all. If it's Facebook
Invite
or
them to
something.
a metaverse gathering.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it can be the Rusty Diamond Metaverse gathering of Rusty Diamonds, and
Love it.
why not? So yeah, well, yeah, Shelley, thank you so much for being on, and yeah, now knowing what we're going to talk about and getting to where we got to talk about. And I very much enjoyed it. So
I enjoyed it too, Rusty. Thank you for having me.
you're welcome, and have a great rest of the day. All right.
You too.
All right. Yep. Bye. All right. That is Shelley Ceridwen, and I'll put all her stuff along with her website, her new website on there. I'll put that in for you guys to check out. And thank you everybody for listening here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. And I'm your host, Rusty Diamond. And that is the show, man. Boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Ernest! Ernest! Ernest!
Yes, Pee-wee.
You brought the snacks, right?